Good morning. It's Monday, February 7th. This is a resumption of the regular Selectmen's meeting following non-public session. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So, Joe, do you have some public input?
I have a couple of questions. The first one is the non-public session that you just came out of. What was the title? Was it lawyers? Was it personnel? Whatever. Just a one-line statement.
Legal.
Legal. Thank you very much. Number two. 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I don't know. You had a guy in here from the state, and we were talking about the 171 Durgan
Yes.
Road deal. Did you get any feedback from them yet?
Yes, we did.
Oh, good.
And-
Okay.
Yep.
I'll wait for that then.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm all done. Thank you very much.
Good. All right. So I'm going to defer the minutes and we'll do some appointments first. So you're, huh?
No, you're chopped liver.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
That's right. You don't count.
building was
Are
first.
you in a hurry?
No.
Okay. All right. Well,
Was in a hurry?
yes, he is. So we'll call you in a couple minutes then. Thank you. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
What's going on?
Not much. I found out my December numbers from Waste Management, and you have them in front of you. So we did our salt minutes of waste, and see the total numbers were, you see here,
Mhm.
22,000. And we did 10,000, a little over 10,000 in revenue. And we ended up with the avoided cost total being a little over 8,600, almost 8,700 when we ferried everything out. So, worked out pretty good for December.
So the 2021 year-to-date total, that's the total year.
Yeah, if you look at the second page, the 2021 totals, that, you see the totals for 2020 and the totals for 2021, that is the final numbers for the year.
Okay.
1,252 tons for the solid waste, 940 tons of CD, and so on and so forth, down the list. That's the December 31 number.
So solid waste is up 25%, is that right?
Correct. 20, we were up 20 tons on solid waste. We're up,
No, 30 tons on solid waste.
well, yeah, we're up 30, 60, 25,
And
15 tons on plastic. We're 40, 56, 30 tons on glass. I mean, it was ridiculous. 20 tons on cardboard, 25 tons on cardboard. I mean, it was a stellar year.
So 7% is recycled. That's what we're doing right now. We got 155.9, so call it 156 tons of recycled through NRRA.
The third page has numbers.
Yeah. And you had a total of non-recycled of 2,192 tons. So that might be something to bring up when you're doing your little report. of the
Page
town.
4 has my paper recycling information on it.
Okay.
I got that out for you.
Yes, we might remember that I asked the board if I could get Chris to do that because I'm unclear. I've read this and I think that's really good. That gives everybody a really good idea what can and cannot be, especially with paper, which is new to us. That's lovely. I like that very much. Thank you, Chris.
I think you're spot on with the online shopping and the corrugated. Man, I
Absolutely.
noticed I have a lot more boxes than I used to.
You better believe
I used to
it.
just throw them in a pile out in the, because, we're always looking for something to send stuff up to the kids. But
Yeah.
it's like, no, I got way too much of this stuff now.
So, what I was getting at was, we should probably be setting a goal of a little more than 7%. Of our waste stream being recycled.
Right.
And I think, there's any, aside from the paper, which may or may not pan out, and I'm not thinking of it financially, I'm just thinking of it ecologically. But, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of cardboard that goes in, I'm sure there's a lot of glass that goes in. The metal, I don't know, maybe people think metal is more valuable, but that's a place where I think we really need to start making a little bit of noise to the public that they can do a better job.
Yeah, I think it needs to be a townwide blitz. I mean, we need to make it a townwide effort.
Maybe have you written your thing for the town report?
Well, I mean, I have
In your head?
kind of,
Well, just kind of make that a paragraph. Should be a goal for all of us to be a little better at recycling. Because I'm not in favor of mandatory recycling, but I'm in favor of people doing the right thing.
that we certainly do still have a large quantity of cardboard, clean cardboard that goes in the compactor. We have a lot of cans in the compactor, glass. We're not making anything on the glass because we don't sort it,
Right.
If we wanted to go to the troubles of sorting glass, we might make something on it, but it would be very
So,
labor
but there is an
intensive.
avoided cost with the glass, right? We pay less to get rid of the glass than we do for MSW, correct?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's,
It's the money you don't pay is just as important as
Right,
the
right,
money you
right,
do
right,
pay.
yeah.
right. So it's, I've always felt that one of the things that encourages recycling is the old Yankee thriftiness. The
Right.
idea that, that we're saving ourselves money by putting a little effort into separating these materials out of
Right.
the waste stream.
Correct.
And some stuff is easier to separate out than others.
Mhm.
But if you get into a routine of doing it, it's pretty straightforward. So, NRA used to have signage available that showed things like, you could keep a tally of how you're doing on recycling and various things, and what the financial benefit so far this year is of, that particular activity. The type of thing that you put it up inside the recycling building, a big thing that people can look at and reinforces the benefit that we all get from making a little bit of effort to divert stuff from the solid waste. So I don't know if any of those those things are still around, but it might be something to look at. Yeah, check with Bonnie on that.
I can look at the budget. I know we've got a line item for recycling awareness.
Yes,
So you got
yes,
some
we do,
money
yeah.
there. The other thing I was thinking about after we spoke at the transfer station the other day is the waste oil. And just, reasonably, you should be able to look some guy in the eye and say, is it clean? And you should be able to honestly say yeah or no. But you're not gonna get that out of it. We are gonna find ourselves with thousands of dollars more in fees to get rid of it. So should we be do we charge for waste oil right now?
We do not, it's a free service that we provide people.
Yeah.
And then we have to pay, well, this last time, it was well over $1,000. I think it was almost $2,000 to get rid of 300 gallons. So it was,
Yeah, maybe another paragraph in your, I mean, I'm not a real fan of fees because all of a sudden the oil becomes keeping the dust down on your driveway, which is not a good place for it.
well, people can drive down to Walmart and they'll take it, you know?
Right.
I mean, we can't be everything. My position is we can't be everything to everybody. And what did people do with that oil before we took it for free?
Put it on the driveway.
Yeah, well,
Driveway,
Uh,
burn brush,
The
Guilty.
town used to take, you know, a quart of oil from you when you changed your lawnmower, or a quart of oil from somebody when they changed stuff. Now people are coming in with 2 5-gallon pails or 4 5-gallon pails when they change the oil in their skid. But they, you know, it's ridiculous. They're abusing the system. You know, in 3, weeks, that 300-gallon tank is full.
again.
So I think it's an abuse of the town's good nature, really.
Well, what's an average oil change, like 6 quarts?
5 to 6, depending on your vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, although it seems, I want to say trucks are more than they used to be. It's like 8 quarts now,
My
but
diesel's 10
but
or
still,
11.
yeah.
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
Todd
but it
states
is, it's a
that.
whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't have one, so I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
And I don't
So-
So we
change.
can put a limit on it, I mean, you say 2 gallons, that's all you can bring in. You know, it's,
so one of the things that, I mean, education helps, and maybe that's the first place to start. People that bring in contaminated oil, and by contaminated, I'm not talking about that has sludgy stuff out of the,
Right.
Right, yeah.
but has other
Antifreeze.
stuff, antifreeze primarily mixed in. Are they aware that that's an issue?
Well, if
Are they
it's-
even aware that there's antifreeze in it? I mean,
It's hard to say. I mean, if they have a cracked head and the antifreeze is in
Right.
the engine, they're not gonna know that, but, we're not gonna be able to know that either.
right,
But if they come in with contaminated oil and they know it, yes. I'm not gonna sit here and say that we have malicious people coming in and dumping
Right.
contaminated oil, but we end up with a contaminated 300-gallon oil tank and we have to have that pumped out and we,
yeah.
so I'm trying to think of, are all of these people that are bringing in 10 gallons of oil local?
well, the customer residents that have,
A skidder? Because I don't know that many that have skidders. There are a few of them out there, but
well, we've got several people in town that have businesses
Yeah.
and equipment.
So I'll ask one of my favorite questions, which is, we can't be the only town that's dealing with this issue, and do other communities have a successful way of dealing with it short of
I haven't,
draconian measures?
I haven't really tried,
So maybe
Just
somebody,
that.
maybe somebody at NRA can give you
Yeah, what's a best practice?
Yeah, best practice idea. There's some things that we can tweak and make a big difference from where we're at now. I mean, as you say, it's a convenience to people in town to be able to bring their oil and other stuff to the transfer station, and it would be good to be able to have that continue, but if we're generating a huge amount of additional expense because of the way we're collecting it, or the the, the quantities that are coming in that are different than what we've seen traditionally, then it's something
But I
else.
can't imagine that Moultonboro or Sandwich or Ossipee,
Wolfboro, you're there.
even Wolfboro, although yeah.
You gotta be dealing with it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they must have instituted some practice that works, or maybe they'll just tell you, no, we put another 10 grand on our, you know,
Yeah.
account there for the budget, because we gotta get rid of the oil. But I have no idea which direction they went.
well, and again, that's why it helps to try and ferret out best practice. Is another community doing something that's particularly effective, that's,
Well, Wolfboro having town highway, they're changing oil a lot.
right,
They're generating a huge quantity of oil,
right.
and they gotta be doing something with it.
Right, but keep in mind.
What it is, I
If
don't
I
know.
remember correctly, DES does not allow us to collect commercial oil, only residential, right?
Mhm.
So the town highway garage, okay, whatever's generated there can't go to the transfer station. It has to go to somebody that's a licensed,
Yeah, and you have gallon limits too.
yeah,
And they may be using it to heat with, I don't know. But
Yeah.
what their solution to contaminated oil is, I don't know either.
Right.
Obviously, water is heavier. You could have a settling tank with a petcock and you drain out the water until oil comes, all right? It's crude. It's a way to separate, but then we have to have an oil grid. No, well, antifreeze, I have no idea how light that is compared to.
Specific gravity of
I know what happens when you get contaminated oil. It looks like a gray milkshake when it comes out of your oil pan.
Right.
I've seen that happen with marine diesels too many times. And I've seen it happen with motorcycles. However, you can't separate that stuff out at that point in time. It's getting turned into a milkshake. And I don't know what we're gonna do with it yet, but definitely reach out, see what we can come up with. Yeah, and what they're doing, because if we have to increase the budget at some point in time to deal with it, then we have to do it. The taxpayers are gonna have to deal with that on their own level.
I was talking about Wolfboro.
Yeah.
See what's
Yeah, and
that?
ask these guys if it's you know, if Bill's correct that you can't take commercial operation oil.
I know, yeah, I know that's a fact.
Yeah. Then I think Skidders qualify as commercial.
commercial.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyway, yeah. A little best practice stuff going on, give us some ideas of
Right.
where to go in the right way.
So the $10,389 is December's revenue
Yes, that's what we took in,
in December?
that's Harding Metal. We sent out lead acid batteries and shipment of aluminum cans.
Right.
That's what we took in resident fees.
And do you have a total for the year?
And to, not with me,
Okay.
we have to get that back to you.
I mean, they're showing, NRA is showing me $11,715 of revenue from them.
Right.
Mhm.
But you've also got stickers and user fees and all the rest of that stuff. So
Yeah.
another number that would be good for your report. So if you can gather together the total revenue income, offset expenses, that's a
All my months.
transmitted to the
Yeah.
And
population.
all the notes.
So if you combine the two, we're averaging 7% recycling, and that's yielding X. Let's say it's $100,000. So if you doubled that to 14, one would presume that you get $200,000 to offset expenses. So it shows that there's a benefit to the taxpayer. It's not just we're taking more money in and spending it willy-nilly. It
Right.
comes in as revenue and goes right to offset expenses. Going to Bill's point into Yankee frugality, if you know, you just have to pick your feet up a little higher every day and you make
Yep.
another $100,000.
And I know we have a certain number of people whose attitude is, it's not worth it. I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
Put forth the effort.
Fast, yeah.
right. Well, when I was a kid, we never did this.
Yeah, we used to dump it in cop's pond.
Right, yeah. All right, anything else?
Well, we've done the annual report for DES and filed that, so that's done. And then sent in, I just wanted to, that that's been done. So, and, you've got on the report there that you've got 28,000, almost 29,000 pounds of cardboard on site and almost 2,000 pounds of aluminum on site waiting to
And that's in our report here?
ship. No, I'm just telling you.
Oh, okay.
So my assumption is from previous meetings that you've got whatever balers and equipment that you need lined up if that warrant article for recycled paper passes. We can institute that in April.
If it passes, I can pull the trigger.
Okay.
Get
And as
them
far as
ordered, yeah.
employees for that, you're gonna have to add one, or are you gonna bring per diems in, or what?
I can get per diems.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, we haven't really talked about adding an employee, but I think it's inevitable that's gonna happen.
I think that's in the budget,
Yeah.
correct? Additional.
If it gets approved.
If we start recycling paper, I mean, it's gonna, you have to see how it goes, basically, but I would think that it would require more employees to handle it of some kind, but we never know. If it doesn't take off at all,
I mean, if the cardboard continues the way it's been going, if it continues to increase, especially if we encourage more recycling, the cardboard, the paper will be a full-time job.
Yeah.
I mean, that cardboard table, if you turn your back on that for a minute, it just explodes, it's crazy.
Yeah. The way we collect the cardboard though, because an employee takes it, puts it in the compactor, that becomes a quality sort on that. So if there's anything that comes in there that's,
Right.
that the quality level isn't acceptable, it can get sorted out at that point.
Exactly.
Whereas my understanding with paper is we're gonna have a bin for people to put it in, and somebody needs to be there to eyeball it going in to make sure that it's
the right stuff and not
it's the right
contaminated.
stuff,
yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Because the penalty for contamination is, it's not that somebody says, we're gonna take this piece out. They just say,
Nope.
this load doesn't meet our requirement.
Right, if one item in that load is bad, the whole load is bad.
So that's the fibers OCC baled, that's cardboard.
Yes, OCC bill.
What are we paying a yard for tipping fees, or is it a ton?
No, we don't get paid because of that.
No,
Oh, for the
regular trash,
110.
110 a ton.
Yeah.
Plus 10,436. So cardboard has amounted to $17,696 worth of revenue and offset costs. So it's reduced the cost of tipping by its tonnage, and it's brought in $10,000 worth of revenue. So if you double that, now you're at $34,000 or $35,000. Having another, and remember it's 7%, having another employee to manage getting that done and we're just talking cardboard at this point. You've got the money already in the system to make that happen. So if you add to that paper offset, which I don't think there's any revenue in paper, but there's an offset in paper, and then your aluminum can baling and all of that. I mean, I think between all of the recyclables, if you could increase them by 5%, or
Yeah.
5% more than we're doing now.
Yearly,
more than
the
that.
paper's off.
Yeah, it's not gonna adversely affect the budget by having an additional employee. It's actually gonna benefit the budget.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So be creative in your, when does the town report due? When do you have to publish?
Get the word out, yeah.
I asked for it by the 11th, but it's the following week.
Okay, so we've got a little time, so pen something up and let's look at it. If we need to
I'm
push
going
a
to
little harder.
suggest that you and Chris kind of review it together.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
put together what you think you want to put out there, and then you and I'll read it together, and if we want to add something
Yeah.
or change
Tweak
something,
it.
we can get it
You know,
done.
and if you want to put a specific example in there of this material, just like you were talking about, here's what it did for us, and I don't know, we're at 7.7% on recycling now. I don't know what the average town is. And every town's a little different, and you want to, if you're looking for benchmarks, you want to stay away from those that do mandatory recycling.
I remember the goal being 10% back when we first started this,
Yeah.
when we built the transfer station up there. And Ann Hackle was involved in that, and they came up with that number through DES and NRA
You know,
and all
so,
this.
you know, to maybe talking to Bonnie, she can give you a, well,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, this is not a bad, not unreasonable. Again,
Yeah, we're
you
just,
gotta look at similar towns to
I
Tuftonboro,
mean,
not
you're in a
just.
perfect position, because you're right at, you're brand new. You call in NRA and say, okay, I did the numbers for 7%. What's the average out there in the world of small towns, not Manchester, but
Right.
there's
Yep.
100 small towns out there, what are they doing? And she'll probably say, well, some of them are doing 15%, some of them are doing 2%, but the average is X. I mean, if we can set a reasonable goal that's been
Right.
achieved locally or statewide,
Yeah, we gotta be reasonable with it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we can't go to 25%.
Set your expectations too high, you're only gonna be disappointed.
Well,
But
and
more is better.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is.
So it's
And you always have to
34,000.
keep the Birkenstock factor. You know,
Oh, yes,
Or the
absolutely.
granola factor.
Yeah.
Whatever you'd like to call
Yeah,
it.
so we're not quite sandwich, but we're not really Wolf.
Right,
So
exactly.
we're somewhere in between.
Yeah,
34,000, 7%.
yeah.
You want to get to
Well,
What do we want to get to?
so part of,
15%.
you know, part of what we do to encourage it is set a goal and track against the goal, saying, here's what,
Sure.
here's where we're at, and this is our goal for this year, and it has to be something that will help us increase the amount. But if the goal is, if we say we want to go to 20%, right, and the chance of getting anywhere close to that is very slim, then it's not a realistic goal. So, you know,
I want a 20% return on my stock portfolio. Good
yeah,
luck.
you're right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, and.
Let me introduce you to Bernie.
Pardon me?
I don't think
Remember
we can do
Bernie
that.
Madoff?
I think he's dead.
Yeah, right, but he,
The other thing, and I realize we can't use you 100% of the time, but just an outreach to the school, maybe go in, talk about recycling. Because sometimes, you know, if kids get it in their head that they're gonna put all the cans in one place, all the cans are going to one place. I mean, I have it at my house.
Mhm.
You know, I'll mistakenly throw a bottle into someplace and, hey, you know,
Grandpa.
my grandpa.
Yeah.
Get that out of, you know.
yeah,
So it's having their plus they, I think this whole global warming thing and all of that is really hit home with young kids. They want to take responsibility.
How come we're not sitting on an iceberg right now? I think the globe warmed up.
Talk to those fishermen on Lake Erie.
Yeah.
We're floating up adrift out
This
there.
climate and this weather.
Yeah.
Never
All right.
change it.
All right, have we been up on you enough today?
I'm good.
Okay,
All right.
anything else we can do for you?
I'm good, I think.
Run your transfer station.
All right,
Good.
thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Can I take just a second, Chris, outside?
Sure.
Yeah. Hi, Jack.
Hello.
Didn't mean to push you off, but.
All right.
Well, you're lighter now, so it's easier to push.
Yeah,
Chip should be right back.
yeah, he will. Chris just jumped in quick as a bunny.
Especially, you know,
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, I'm sorry. Is that personnel, rather than having a non-public thing, so I'm talking about.
Yep.
And then-
Okay, Jack, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm never better. How about
So
yourself?
we have 4 building permits. 3 of those are new houses.
Big
Then-
houses?
Hmm?
Big houses?
No. Average houses. How's that? If there's such a thing anymore.
Family houses, huh?
I wouldn't say family.
No?
I've done 32 inspections. If you notice, the door's complete in the front office. That's all done.
That looks
And
nice.
the mini suite, the townhouse is all complete and it works. So that's good.
Yeah.
It's cold out.
It is
It's
cool.
winter.
Yeah.
What's your observations on building costs these days?
Ridiculous.
Thank you.
Numbers going up again.
Yes, it is.
I got 2 sheets of plywood for over $100 yesterday, or
Yeah.
We
Saturday.
got 2 bundles, 16-foot strapping for $155.
Strapping.
Strapping.
There you go. What are you gonna
Right.
do?
43 spruce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta do it before you put the sheetrock on the ceiling, try
Yeah.
to straighten it out a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, these prices are
It's
outrageous.
unreal, but I've had, a lot of septics come in, and a septic design now is $2,000, $2,500, and so people are gonna spend that money, they're gonna build something.
Right.
In the old days, when they bought a piece of property, they had a septic design for it just because, but not now.
Yeah.
So I did chat with Chairman Markson about the short-term rental.
Yes,
That's gonna go through a series of information hearings over the
Right.
course of the next year, so
Yeah, yeah.
we'll have a lot of back and forth on that. Jack had mentioned that the way it was currently structured might be problematic from his point of view
Yeah.
as far as managing it, so.
yeah.
Well, I think that's part and parcel to the whole process.
Yeah,
If the town does this,
Right.
What do we need in terms of additional resources
right.
within the town structure to
Right.
do it?
Right, what do we have to track this thing?
Well, it's,
Yeah, you'll find some, and some you have no idea about,
Right.
so.
Right.
That's,
right, so, and there are ways to communicate it, but as I look through it, the idea that, yeah, we're gonna go out and inspect all these, doesn't necessarily mean that the code officer's gotta be the person that does it, because you're pretty busy already. We're not looking to take, I don't think the intent is to take you, an individual, and say, we'll just keep piling more stuff on top. So if the town does it, then the way it gets executed needs to be in a way that's reasonable and doable, and not just,
I mean, the way it's written, there's building codes in there and there's fire codes in there, so.
right, right,
That's the thing.
The fire department does life safety inspections on all our town buildings,
Right.
they know really
Right.
well what's going on, they
Right.
do.
So again, whether it's done by somebody at the fire department, done by somebody building, done by, who knows, but that's part and parcel of the whole thing.
Okay.
So, much as we'd like to overload you, you know, so that you can't take these
Were there any,
wintertime vacations to warm spots to lay on the beach.
I
Come
don't
back to
remember
below
any warrant articles that were managed by John.
I don't think so either.
No.
And was all the money that we've encumbered, has that all been, I know we had an air conditioner.
The only thing is the carpet out there, and I don't know if that was encumbered funds. I'm not sure if that's in the
We
budget.
did.
I
We
don't know.
encumbered money to
Yeah.
cover that, yeah.
So that can be done now because the door's done. So
Yeah.
it's just, I'll get that on schedule. I know veterans are doing it, and they're very backed up because
Well,
there's no other carpet
so,
around. So.
right, and there isn't any urgency other than we have the money.
And the other thing
We're ready
is-
to do it, we can,
We moved the desks around and stuff, and there's some wires that come to the floor, so I have Scott and Knight, whoever has to move them, so they're coming out of the wall, not out of the middle of the floor anymore.
yep,
Just doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Keep poking holes in carpet.
yep, no, good idea. So I think we're,
All right.
yep. All right, anything else?
Nope.
Okay,
Here we go.
thank you.
Enjoy.
All right. So let's go to, back up to review and approval of minutes. First is the meeting from January 24th.
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And then we have non-public minutes from 11:10 a.m. on the 24th.
I'll move that we approve those minutes.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then the 11:20 a.m. Minutes.
I'll move we approve those minutes and seal them.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and we're going to be unsealing those. And then we have work session for Friday, January 28th.
I'll move approval of those minutes.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And
Yeah.
those are the minutes that will answer Joe's question about what's happening. up
Yes.
above.
Yes,
I'll give
that's
him my
right.
copy.
That's right. So, and I'll jump back to this. After our meeting with DOT, the sign bureau did visit Tuftonboro Corner intersection and reviewed the situation, and they're going to be making some changes in the signage up there. They're going to increase the size of the stop signs on Durgan Road and Ledge Hill Road from 30 inches to 36 inches. And they're going to be adding signs that say cross traffic does not stop to those stop sign poles. And they are going to be renewing the crossroad signs going both directions on Mountain Road and putting the names of the cross streets on the signs as well, as they used to be. So that's that.
I know it's not appropriate, I just want to make a comment, okay? I was up in Maine a couple of weeks ago when I came across an intersection with a four-way stop signs with flashing red lights. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like that or not. It was just an attention getter. And two, maybe if I'm thinking of it, we can have Jim Bean come up to the corner of Ledge Hill Road and
Hit the snowbank.
hit the snowbanks there because we're halfway out the road to see if anyone coming down the street. But thank you for
Yeah.
that information.
Right. So we did talk with the DOT rep here about the LED signs, and he referred to them as a novelty. In my experience, they're in regular use in lots of places around the country,
Lots of
including
novel places.
including on some state roads in the state of New Hampshire. For instance, there's a speed limit sign on Route 3 next to Paugus Bay over in Laconia that has flashing LEDs on it around the edges.
It's a
So
novel community over there.
yeah. Anyway, so he isn't the sign bureau guy. I think that the flashing LEDs are a way to help increase people's awareness of it. I'm encouraged that they're going to make some changes, and I think we need to just stay after it, and maybe we can make another incremental change beyond that.
All right, thank you.
All right, did we approve the January 28th minutes yet or not? Yes.
I think we did.
The work
Yeah,
session.
not
we
the
did.
non-public stuff.
The
All right,
non-public
okay.
is still out.
Yep, all right, so. Yeah, oh, there we go, all right, so, yeah, and we have a set of non-public from the 28th.
I'll move approval of those minutes.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And I think we can unseal these as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Doesn't it say until?
Oh, it is
Oh,
unsealed,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. All right, so let's move on to the signature file. All right, so first we have a employee compensation form for Susan Burnside as planning board secretary.
I'll make a motion that we sign that.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
She was here working the next day.
Yes, she was. What's the date?
It's in Guernsey?
It's the 7th, is it not?
Yep, today is the 7th. We have a settlement agreement for the consolidated communications litigation.
Is that just one signature on that? Or is it three?
It's one signature on for the town, and they have one signature also. So,
Inasmuch as I understand all the legalese, I would make the motion that we have the chairman sign that.
I'll second.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Cammy, this other signature on here, that's consolidated signature
Yes.
on the work.
Oh, did I stick anything on?
You
Sorry.
did, but that's okay. I didn't,
Kids today love stickers. They're all about stickers.
well, the stickers are helpful in making sure that
Yes. Get signed.
that I'm not missing a signature, for sure. All right, we have a proposal here from Bartle Signs, and this is $17,600 $635 for signage and this is for the new police station, right? So I don't think this is a proposal we can accept because we're not building a police station yet.
I agree.
Okay.
I read it, and it's a bit premature.
But, well, we
Good to know.
we asked for the information.
Yes.
Because we didn't previously have that.
Right.
All right. Then we have a letter to the planning board authorizing James Hambrook to act as our agent, representing us at the subdivision hearing on parcel 15-2-27.
I'll make a motion to sign that.
Second?
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So when is that meeting again?
So that's a week from Thursday.
Okay.
So it will be the 17th is the next
And
planning board meeting. And that will be a hearing on that
right.
subdivision. That's also when we have the public session for review of the draft master plan update. So, and then we have a replacement certificate with respect to the milfoil grant. When she discovered that the one that we signed, that I questioned before, in fact, was not right for.
And I think that's the one that Chip signed.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, but did you fill this in?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm in the past, I mean, I think that my name is a signature for the milfoil control committee is down here, not up at the top. So this is saying that I certify that I'm authorized. Did you look at the one?
I looked at the previous one from 2020.
And this is the way it was done?
Mhm.
Okay. So this is a replacement certificate of authority.
Okay.
And it needs your signature. We already voted to do it before.
Correct.
Right.
So I don't know that we need a vote again,
Okay.
but it needs to be signed by you. And if you would scan it, send it to me, put it in the mail, I will email it to her, tell her it's on the way. She can take a look at it. If it's not right, we'll do it again. So,
Okay, so you're accepting the funds and I'm just witnessing your acceptance?
right.
Okay.
That, what that's saying is that I'm authorized to do that. All right, and so then we have the, okay, this is what we need to, the abatement application that we denied on 124, we didn't sign,
Correct.
right? So,
So
all right.
petulance, was that what it was?
Hmm?
We were just being petulant?
No, the signature page was on the back, so. Okay, so.
So we've already
So we've already
voted to sign it?
voted to sign it.
Yes.
Okay.
So, denied. And I wouldn't do it with today's date.
I actually did some research on that.
You did?
Yes.
What did you find out?
Well, the propane delivery man actually does go from Willand Road to this house because it's a lot shorter than trying to go up the driveway and around the house.
Okay, so he does benefit.
He does benefit from having frontage on Moreland Road.
Yeah. Well, I understand. Everybody is
Well,
not enthusiastic about paying more taxes.
if you don't ask,
Yeah.
you certainly won't get a yes answer, that's
Yeah,
for
you're
sure.
right. You're right. All right. And the next signature we have, this is letter of commitment with the Household Hazardous Product Collection Program.
That was previously signed as well, however,
Yep.
that letter said, enter your town name here, and we signed that.
Yeah.
So I had to put,
Okay, so we've already approved this.
Yes.
This is one signature, and this is just a redo.
correct.
So that's just signing us up for hazardous household waste.
Yes, it
Right,
is.
for, yeah, using our facility on those dates. It rotates around where they're gonna have it.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're using our facility. I think
Oh, I thought they were.
would be a part of a
However,
Yeah,
consortium.
so
It has worked anyway, so
Yeah.
it's good. Get rid of
it's
hazardous.
working well for us.
Yep.
I think better than the previous that we did.
There are no action items.
No action items.
Oh, wait, updates, letter for the annual report.
Yeah, he's aware.
Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware. So let's go to
You
correspondence.
didn't want that put into the public record? Strike that.
All right, correspondence. We'll get an approval letter from the state DES for subdivision of land. This is the lot that we're subdividing up on Sodom
Now,
Road.
will that decision be made at the meeting?
It should,
Okay, so then that should go forward this month.
right, right.
Yes,
Yeah,
I-
the only reason that it, typically on these, if there's a lot of information missing when it goes to the planning board, then the hearing can be continued. But typically, an approval will include conditions of some sort that the planning board says has to be completed before it's signed off. Things like monumentation, certificate of monumentation, that sort of thing. But anyway, I don't anticipate any reason that it wouldn't be approved.
And that hearing will be what date?
That will be a week from Thursday at the next planning board meeting on the 17th.
Okay,
And we're meeting at the townhouse.
because I had an inquiry from a very anxious Mr. William Gila as to the status of this.
He's the guy that wants to buy the house?
Yes.
Yes. So does he have an agreement?
I can't say that I've seen one personally, but I believe so.
All right, so that can help situation,
Yes,
dealing with that individual.
I
Okay.
can find out.
Notice from the town of Wakefield, ZBA rehearing of variance application for a, this is a cell phone tower, yeah, on Province Lake Road. So the rehearing is Monday, February 14th. What a way to celebrate Valentine's Day, right?
Yes,
7 PM at the Wakefield Town Hall. So we can go early, eat at Poor People's Pub, and,
if we wanted to.
yeah, and be ready.
I, on the other hand, celebrate my honorable discharge from the United States submarine service on February 14th.
You do?
I do.
Hey, how about that? All right, so we have a notice of a tax appeal for 2020 being withdrawn by the owner of 63-1-9. So I guess,
They thought better of it.
yeah, well, you know, what happens is you get into the process and maybe you take another look at your likelihood and all that thing. All right, cyber risk management report for January. All right. The only thing I see on here, cybersecurity training. 21 employees, is that right? None started? Do we know what cybersecurity training is?
I don't know.
All right. Would you reach out to them and say, hey, we see this thing that's red, which says we haven't done any of this.
What is it?
Well, I mean, I know basically what cybersecurity training is, but if it's a specific
Do they provide it?
deal, yeah, do they provide it? How do people access it? How do we have employees or users know about it? If it's something they do at their workstation, whatever it is, never hurts to be more aware of that. All right. So, correspondence between the co-op and Chief Shigori regarding incentives. I guess this is relative to the new police facility, since they don't need anything at this time, so, okay. All right. Letter from the Department of Revenue Administration, 2022 cyclical revaluation. So we submitted this revaluation contract to the state, and they have 4 recommendations. So I guess we're going to tweak the contract consistent with that before we go forward. Is that what I'm reading here?
I can check with Rod.
Yeah, if you would.
Yeah, he's in
I
today.
mean, that's the gist of what I'm seeing here. It's got
Me too.
four bullet points that say they recommend doing this, in lieu of bond, do this, recommends using this term, and at the bottom suggests that they want to see us make those changes before we sign it, and then send them a copy of the signed contract.
Didn't look too drastic,
No.
just minor
no.
tweaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is
whatever,
good.
whatever 222 is.
Yes.
All right. Selectmen's update. Mr. Albee.
Well, I thought we were gonna have a budget meeting or hearing tomorrow night, but I guess it moved to Thursday.
Yeah,
Because
the chairman of the budget committee didn't notice it in time for doing it tomorrow.
we're all set. I just went through the final numbers, and I know we're gonna try to make an adjustment on the assessing line, but we're at exactly 4% increase year to year on the operating budget, which is good.
Not too shabby.
And I guess we can all weigh in on that need for a reval, which is gonna happen one way or the other. But it would be nice to have it in the budget as opposed to try to find the money.
Right.
I agree.
So, just so I'm clear, I'm going to be offering an amendment to increase the revaluation of property budget from $48,396 to $98,396. Is that
Say it
correct?
again, please.
$40,000 is what the reval costs.
Yeah, so it would be
So I will-
88,396
Right.
would be that line
Yep,
budget request.
yep.
And the total budget would be 340, 4,409,340. So now it's only at 4.1%.
Yep.
I know that the budget committee, I don't know if you want to talk about that anymore.
What?
I know that the budget committee's received the warrant articles.
Yep.
I got all the emails. So they should be all prepared to go on Thursday. I'll defend as I can defend. I think you had mentioned you're gonna be there. Are you gonna be there as well, guys?
I plan on being there, yeah.
Okay, so the three of us will be there. We probably should notice that as a meeting. Because the three selectmen will be in place.
It won't hurt tonight.
And
What day is it?
Thursday.
The,
7? No,
no, today's
today's the
the
7th.
10th.
10.
Thursday the 10th. At 6:30, is it?
6:30 at the townhouse. And I think that's it for me. I was going over, I went over with Chris, and we were all here together this morning, so you know what I went over with them.
Yeah.
And I also reached out to an commercial electrical contractor in Conway and a commercial general contractor in Conway, who both came back with the statement that when you're ready for bidding, we're ready to bid. So the next time we meet with our construction managers, either they'll send them the bid package or I'll figure out how to get it to them. I'm trying to find an electrical contractor that's local as well. If the question doesn't get answered appropriately vis-a-vis who gets the savings when we save money, if the federal government gets the savings, then I think that puts even more pressure on us to hire locally, because if we can't accrue savings on the project, at least we can push it into our local economy as opposed to
Yep,
sending it off to
absolutely.
Manchester or Lowell or wherever else they want to send it. So that's what I've been doing.
All right, so we all should have a copy of the draft articles. And before we leave today, I want to make sure we're in agreement as to the order that the articles should be in. I am not in disagreement, I'm just saying, if we want to move things around, then now's the time to do it. Although,
That's not the draft one,
hmm?
though. Chip's not looking at the draft.
So the draft of the warrant should have those articles in the same order, as
Yep.
it does this draft here, right?
This
There
is what I
is
should be looking
that
at?
one.
This
No,
one?
no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So,
I'm kind of leaning towards your drift. I'm not certain I'm in agreement that the police station should be Article 2.
okay,
It's not a financed article,
right.
and I think we need to let them get their feet wet before we throw a police station article out of them. It's just my
Yep.
opinion. Certainly welcome.
I believe the moderator weighed in on that at our meeting with him, that sooner is better, so that at least the most amount of people will be there. So maybe making it Article 3 instead of Article 2 might be okay.
So, I respect the moderator's opinion,
So do I.
but,
He's just the moderator.
right.
Yes, that's
Right,
true.
he runs a meeting and gets them done.
Right.
And I do think that,
So we've got two articles at risk as far as I can see or feel.
yep,
One is the 19-mile bay, pier at 19 Mile
Right,
Bay,
yep.
and the other is the fire station.
mhm.
I would, and I'm just talking politics, I guess, I would rather see Article 4 as Article 2 and Article 2 as Article 4, so that we get one of them done. I mean, if there's gonna be contention, it's gonna probably be in the police department.
Yeah.
If we get the bit in their mouth, all of a sudden they don't wanna pass anything. Now we're in
Yep,
a holding pattern for another year.
yep.
That's just my suggestion.
I think that's reasonable.
I'm more than willing to change my position if somebody else wants to. And where are you at, Bill?
I'm fine with that. And again, I know the conversation at Budget Committee was, well, if we're gonna do a secret ballot on the police station article, then we want it early. but I think they're confusing that with a financed one where you have to have the ballot box open for an hour.
Yeah.
So any article can be voted on by secret ballot, and the only requirement there, if it's not a financed article, is that people have time to vote, which means that everybody that's there, the 5-10 minutes it takes to mark the ballot, go up and put it in, is what
Yeah,
it takes.
and the moderator has the job of saying, okay, voting's open, and then saying,
Yes.
voting's about to close, does anybody else want to vote?
Right.
Exactly.
And if nobody wants to vote, then it's done.
Right,
That's fine.
right,
See no problem moving that.
all right. So,
Thank you. I'll make that motion that we change the Article 2 to be number Article 4, and Article 4 to be Article 2.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. See any other changes you want to make in the order here?
Um,
So I think having the two paving articles together makes sense.
Right.
Yep.
And then I think, so those, now you get a little break from the spending big money, and now we're gonna get into the
Yeah.
police vehicle article, which is gonna confuse some people, and it's gonna take a little time of it for explanations, why we're going in that
It shouldn't
direction.
take too long, I wouldn't think.
It's not gonna take too long, but it's gonna be, there may be some resistance to the structure of the article, that's
Right.
all I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it's gonna take a little more time than the paving article.
Yep.
I think the general public will
Yep.
accept the idea that we need to be flexible in what we do. And that
Yeah.
gives us that
Well,
flexibility.
and the biggest thing operating there is, the way vehicle manufacturers are doing things today,
Yeah.
it's a different
Absolutely.
world.
Every manufacturer.
And, yep, so.
I know of people that have waited 8 months for a couch that they voted and still
Yeah.
don't have it.
Just,
The
yeah,
days of,
14 weeks for a bed.
yeah,
Right?
the days of reaching out to one of the large dealers and saying,
Hey.
I'm ready for this thing, and do you have one on the lot, and
Yeah.
which one?
The language though that I'm speaking of
Yeah.
is the last sentence.
Uh-huh.
Appointing the Board of Selectmen as agents to expend both principal and interest.
That's standard language for
But for
expendable.
whatever reason,
Yeah,
that is a cause for debate.
It has been traditionally, yes. I-
Traditionally and it never has killed anything as far as I can ever see, but it's another 10 minutes before.
Killed my
Yeah.
interest in the article a lot of times.
Yeah.
When I wasn't a selectman.
Yeah.
Listening to that debate.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember your
so,
So I think that's good, that
Yeah.
the way we've got the order now. And then the paper recycling's gonna come up, and then the $5,000, and then we'll talk about the general budget,
yep.
which you're gonna try to amend that at the budget hearing?
Yes, I'm gonna
This will
propose an
change.
amendment, and so that will change before we was finalized, which is one of the reasons I told Kathy with the 737 form, you
Yeah, we're not
can't, you
signing
can't
it.
push that button to
No.
finalize it, which puts the last segment of the information in until after the budget hearing, because the budget may change, and you can't assume that it won't. We know we want to change it.
Right.
If the budget committee doesn't want to change it, then so be it.
So we should be able to sign it on Friday morning. When we come up for checks.
Yep,
Do you wanna schedule 9:30 that we're all here together, or do we wanna vote on something before we get here?
I'm good with whichever.
Are you working Friday, or?
No, I'm going to Connecticut on Friday, but I always come in early in the morning.
Oh, you
So-
come here at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I can-
gotta come in at
Right.
5.
And I can wait. It's not that big a deal.
all
to
right,
me.
so 9:30 work for you on
Yeah.
Friday?
I mean, I'll
So
try
let's
to-
have a work
I
session
come in at
9:30 on
9,
Friday.
But I'll definitely be here by 9:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to.
So we'll schedule the work session. I'm in favor of that.
Yep,
No problem.
Good.
all right.
That's it.
Jesus.
Hmm?
We're getting stuff done.
We are getting stuff done. After a long meeting with the prospective council this morning, that's great. All right,
So my update
your update.
would be that I was asked a question. How do we make the determination to put the people who wear masks in the gym and the people who don't in the cafeteria? My recollection was that was recommended by the moderator. But I said, I'll ask, why don't we put the people with masks in the cafeteria and unmasked people in the gymnasium.
Presumably, there'll be more people wearing masks.
Yes, but how does that affect putting them in the cafeteria?
Cafeteria is a smaller space that can only hold so many people.
270 in chairs, according to Captain Pike, who did that research for me.
Okay,
So they could go in the cafeteria
well, if all you're gonna have is.
if we wanted it that way. Just saying, that's what it says. This was done just this week. He went in and remeasured to make sure. So, again, we flipped a coin. I don't know how we actually came to that. I thought it was at the recommendation of the moderator.
So,
I think.
And I actually proposed that we do
This
it.
is a distinction without a difference.
yes.
Yes,
right,
exactly.
Right.
If you're gonna split the crowd, I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
hold it a lottery.
Again,
So-
I don't know.
So, and I think it was based upon past observation that the larger number of people would be those that are willing to comply with the restrictions of the school.
Hmm?
That the number of folks that are terminally resistant to putting on a mask is smaller.
Yeah. And it is only the first week of February.
Anything could change.
Anything could change.
Yes.
I mean,
Right.
They may pull the mask mandate before town meeting, at which point this is all moot.
Right.
But,
Well, I had to ask the question,
Yeah,
so I did.
and actually, we don't drive that particular part of the town meeting. It's the moderator does.
Yes.
So if he decides that he's gonna split the crowd one way, that's the way it's gonna split.
Right.
yep.
Well, they can ask the moderator if they'd like further information.
On the 7th. I think that's
Exactly.
as soon as you're gonna get a hold of him.
Well, that doesn't happen to work that way, but that's okay.
All right.
Parks and Rec is going to meet next Tuesday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
You can't get them to meet when you...
I am going to take the time. In my correspondence with the chairman, he agrees that it is hard for the working people, and maybe they'd move their meetings to Saturdays, which I will advise him is an even worse way to do it.
Why not have it at 7 o'clock in the evening?
I don't know this. I'm going to go to that meeting. I will take off work early and go to that meeting.
What time is the meeting again?
4 o'clock.
Ouch.
It makes, well, and they have trouble getting a quorum or volunteers. Well, yeah, too many people work till 5 or later.
Somewhere other than Tuftonboro generally.
Yes, so I'm gonna try to get some word going on how to fix some of these issues, but they're gonna have a hard time getting volunteers for 4 a.m., 4 in the afternoon or Saturday. So I will take my concerns to them on
Right.
Tuesday. We'll see what happens.
Great.
It's a tough game.
Parks and
It-
Rec.
Parks and Rec, well, no wonder you didn't want it.
It ought to be pretty straightforward, right?
One would think so,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem to work out that way.
The rule books, that rule book.
5 a.m. would be fine for me, but that's not fine for everyone else.
Yep. Well, the only update that I have is, I think we've already covered some of it, planning board. We had our meeting last Thursday. We spent the bulk of our time discussing the draft revision to the master plan and going over stuff that was proposed and that sort of thing. Again, the schedule going forward is we're going to have a public session at the planning board meeting on the 17th. It will be an opportunity for everybody that wants to show up to suggest changes to the draft.
So is anything in that document going to impact the warrant? Do you have anything
No.
going on the warrant?
No,
Planning board?
no,
Okay.
So that's going to be a public hearing
7 PM.
for this, yes, but that's going to be for the subdivision and for the master plan update?
So we're doing master plan update and
And-
right, and the subdivision
Okay.
public hearing is also that same night.
All right, both of those.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing we spent a little bit of time on was the draft of the short-term rental
Right.
ordinance. And that is not going to town meeting this year. So we purposely brought it forward after the deadline for,
Right.
for this year's inclusion, because the chairman and I support this thinking, believes that it makes sense to shop it around, have people look at it, provide input, understand what the intent is, offer any suggestions, concerns, whatever, as with any ordinance that goes on the warrant. If it doesn't pass, it's moot. So if you want to pass it, and we've seen this with zoning ordinance changes in the past, we've not always been so good about communicating and helping people understand what it is. And the first time a lot of people see zoning changes when they go to the voting booth, and it's there on the thing, and they're just not really sure what's what. So,
And a lot of it is, I mean, when you change the internal language of a portion of the zoning ordinance, that confuses people.
yeah,
Yes.
Because it's not fully fleshed out how the change has worked. And I don't think DRA lets you flesh it out as well as you could. Where you're presenting something totally in addition to the
Mhm.
zoning.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have the whole thing in front of people, and I think it'll be a lot easier.
Yep.
But I think public hearings are, you know, it's been lacking attendance, at least you've got filming and it's on
Yep.
YouTube or wherever.
yep,
Make every effort to get the information out.
Yeah.
That's all you can do,
yep.
really.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'll live through it, but my concern is the state is gonna say, no, you don't get to do that, we do that. And,
Well,
Yeah,
and I think that's a reasonable concern.
yeah,
On the other hand, this was put together by a land use attorney who,
well, and I appreciate that.
you know,
I
who's
just
pretty
seen,
conversant.
you know, you watch the bill thing
Yep.
from the
Yep.
State House, and the issue's coming up more and more often. And
It
I
is.
think there's gonna be some movement on it.
Yep,
Because
yep.
It-
And
I mean, I
again,
went from
my
this-
understanding is the legislation that they're discussing has to do with preventing towns from prohibiting
Right,
short-term housing,
right.
Oh, much
which is,
like,
which is not what the intent of this
right,
ordinance
that
is.
would be much like the non-prohibiting of workforce housing. And
Yeah,
not- yeah,
right.
I see that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the state's very concerned with collecting rooms and meals tax as
Yeah,
well.
Well,
that's the
and-
part that boggles my mind,
That's
is they
right.
haven't figured that out yet.
Right,
There.
exactly.
But you got all of this revenue possibility and nobody's doing anything about it.
Yep,
And the minute they move into that arena, they're gonna want the local community to.
To take the bulk of the work.
Permitting.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
time, every time,
And
sure.
and so then they'll put the wording together of how you're gonna do it.
yep.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I don't have anything else that I remember. So is there any other business to come before us?
Joe might have something.
So I asked a couple things. Just to need an update for my own benefit. Whatever happened to the line striping in this town? The people never showed up, they didn't do anything, they just opted out? Do you remember?
So the line striping was done this year. The stop line striping was not done. And the contractor, as I recall for that, didn't get here.
Didn't last too long coming down Ledge Hill. All right,
We striped, all the roads that we striped were striped.
they must have
This spring.
used cheap paint. Okay, town meeting. Mask, no mask. Cafeteria, main auditorium.
So the way we are set up right now is that it will be held at Templeton Central School. There will be separate rooms for those wearing masks and those who are unmasked.
Lucky for you, there's only one of me, so where will I go?
So the
Yeah,
moderator will need to make arrangements so that the remote room has a link up to the main room, audio and video. That isn't you. I don't know who he's gonna get
No,
to
I
do
understand that,
but-
no. Once upon a time, a long time ago,
Yep,
I ran a line from the gymnasium down to a classroom
mhm,
because it was an overflow.
yep,
That was a challenge and a half. I won't be doing that today.
Yep.
As far as, now, I think the school has their own video audio system already built in,
yep.
and they may have used it, so, I guess, my question would be, I suppose I should be talking to Dan as opposed to you
Yes,
guys.
right,
Okay,
right. But thank you for bringing that up. That's,
Right.
I mean, it's,
well, it was a concern of mine.
having the meeting in two places means, as I understand it, that you need two of everything.
Yeah,
You
Kyle would
need
have to
you need the
double up
audio,
too.
video link up, you also need a second ballot box, you need an assistant moderator in the second room, you need, you know, whatever, ballot counters, whatever it is. That's,
Okay, that's all I had.
all right, thank you. Anything else, Cammie, that I've missed?
No, sir.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah,
Opposed?
thank you.
Thank you.
Did very well,
Joe.
considering we had a long meeting. Well,
It's got that stuff on it.
Yes, it does.
I will say, I hope
This
any
is for,
other,
Friday. Thank you.
attorney's job, that few girls.
Is that the right
Yep.
line item that?
I'm leaning heavily in favor of it.
Yep,
That's just me.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
40 grand on it.
Yep, got it.
Changes
Contact
to the bottom
Jack
line
with
at the very end.
Yes, I got that.
Yep,
And Jack has agreed that we can, as long as we're separated.
all right.
I understand it's contrary to, yes, I know.